How Labour's no-frills budget can earn voters' trust. Grant Robertson rose to deliver his sixth budget on Thursday. New Zealanders were wondering what his biggest, juiciest announcement would be in an election year. Few would have guessed that his big economic and political play was nothing. In line with the responsible Robertson role he has taken on in his 2 terms as Labour's finance minister, the MP for Wellington Central cut his cloth carefully and resisted what must have been intense pressure from within and around his party to put more money in New Zealanders' pockets.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
From within and around his party to put more money in New Zealanders' pockets. After a 2022 budget that played to Labour's base, this year's effort was essentially an inflation-driven budget that many more right-leaning parties would have been happy to deliver. The thinking clearly was the less we do, the more we help middle New Zealand. We have come to expect a few big announcements from the finance minister on budget days. This year the headline news came instead from Treasury. The key info? No recession after all, inflation has peaked, and it is expected to fall to 3.3% as early as next year. Robertson says 79% of the spending in this budget has gone to maintaining the status quo rather than shiny new schemes. He wants voters not to oh and ah over some spending plan or tax cut, but to feel relief that this corrosive inflation that is making life.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.
Not to oh and ah over some spending plan or tax cut, but to feel relief that this corrosive inflation that is making life so difficult for us all is coming down faster and further than expected. He wants voters to thank him for doing nothing, and in doing so getting the economy back into shape faster. Though to be fair, it is not entirely nothing. The inevitable frills in a no-frills budget come mostly in the form of wins for the young families that both major parties see as critical in this year's election. The sum of $1.2 billion will be put into early childhood education over the next 4 years so that Labour's 20 hours free childcare is extended to cover 2-year-olds, as well as the 3 to 5-year-olds already covered. There is more money for classrooms, school lunches, and kara. And 5 to 12-year-olds will get free public transport. The most populist move, which will save people money and improve health without being inflationary, is to scrap the $5 prescription charge you pay at the chemist. Annoying for some, life-changing for others. Robertson estimates 135,000 New Zealanders did not pick up their prescription last year because of that cost. But in terms of headline policies, that is about it. Responsible Robertson means Labour can impress upon voters that it can be trusted with the economy in bad times and good, something voters have long been sceptical about. Yet let's be clear, come the election, responsible Robertson will hand over to hopeful Hipkins. Labour's betting that the economy will be looking a little more solid come October, allowing its leader to start promising some big-ticket items over the next 3 years, just as long as you vote for the red team. This budget is spending delayed, not spending denied. It is interesting to note that some of Labour's moves look to lock in policies close to its heart, and close to the heart of the Green Party. More money for the Green Investment Fund, the warmer winter home scheme alongside those school lunches and free public transport for kids. That spending all makes it incredibly hard for any future cost-cutting government wanting to claw back those policies. Those look like policies that are here to stay. And talking about the long term, in the midst of this budget is some spending that could well be what we remember most about Budget 2023 when we look back on it in 20 or 50 years. Labour has promised to spend a mammoth $71 billion on infrastructure over the next 5 years. Compare that to the $45 billion it has spent on infrastructure in the past 5 years. For too long, governments have kicked the can down the road when it comes to investing in resilient and essential infrastructure, Robertson said. Today, we embark on the long-term nation building a responsible government must do. This is Robertson's legacy stuff, lest Labour lose the election. And it is perhaps a wee dig that he used John Key's oft-used phrase about kicking the can down the road to announce it. It is only a third of the $210 billion infrastructure deficit New Zealand has, but it is a significant start. His biggest challenge will be finding the workforce to build all the roads, rail, schools, and local public works that money can afford. It certainly indicates he will do nothing to restrict the rapidly increasing numbers of immigrants returning to New Zealand's shores. Inside that policy is $6 billion for the National Resilience Plan. The money on roads, rail, and more will be spent in a way that acknowledges the reality of climate change now, not as some future concern. That may be the most significant part of this budget. With the Cyclone Gabrielle repairs, Robertson promised to build back better. Expect that to be a phrase you hear a lot in the months ahead. That is much more future-focused than most election year budgets. But that is exactly the point. Labour does not want to be seen to be splashing the cash right now. It wants your trust more than your excitement. It wants responsible Robertson front and centre. For now. That may be the most significant part of this budget. With the Cyclone Gabrielle repairs, Robertson promised to build back better. Expect that to be a phrase you hear a lot in the months ahead. That is much more future-focused than most election year budgets. But that is exactly the point. Labour does not want to be seen to be splashing the cash right now. It wants your trust more than your excitement. It wants responsible Robertson front and centre. For now. Robertson front and centre. For now.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and click our bell icon for new videos.